Welcome to The Art of Being Unstoppable, the podcast where we will go beyond the ordinary and embrace the extraordinary. Be part of down-to-earth, no BS conversations where we will explore hot topics on love and money, relationships and business, beauty, and who we get to be with all that shit in between. With our insights and your actions, let's be unstoppable together. Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome back. And today we are talking about something that I have never heard of before. I was reading a bunch of articles and I came across this one, and it was entitled, "What is Spiritual Escapism?" Now, we know what escapism is. It's when we use substances, alcohol, drugs, pornography, social media to escape our current reality. But I never really heard the term spiritual escapism. And there was a quote that I wanted to share with you guys. It says, "Many spiritual people are involved in a radical denial of what is happening. They want to transcend it, get rid of it, get out of it, get away from it. There's nothing wrong with that feeling, but the approach doesn't work because it's escapism in spiritual clothing. It's wearing spiritual clothing and spiritual concepts, but it is really no different than a drunk in the gutter who doesn't want to feel the pain anymore. When you abide and accept everything completely and fully, you automatically go beyond." Soon as I read that, I had this light bulb moment. I spent 8 years in deep personal transformation work, thousands of hours of in the realm of ontological, right? The study of being, looking at how did my identity get constructed? Why am I the way that I am? And I remember when I was going through all of this training and development, my business was falling in the shitter. I was in a huge relationship breakdown with my husband at the time. I wasn't really present for my family, but I was transforming, like under this.
Yeah.
And I almost became addicted to it in the sense that I spent over $100,000 on personal development, training, programs, coaches. And I remember a couple years ago during a leadership course that I was taking, one of the exercises was to really help you look at the things that you want to transform about yourself.
Okay.
And one of the things that I started doing was writing down, my insecurity, my, I cut people off sometimes, not in my car, but I'm just, there was ways of being that I can be a little pretentious and I can be a little too straight and forward and too significant. And I started writing down all these things that I wanted to change. And then part of the exercise was to cross them off and say, those things aren't actually changing about you. You're not broken. You don't need to be fixed. But those are parts of you that you've created that have been keeping you safe your whole entire life. And that moment was a light bulb moment because I realized, I'm not broken. I don't need to be fixed. I'm not changing. I don't have to run from myself anymore. That was a pivotal moment for me. But seeing this quote, I realized that it was spiritual escapism for me. And I never really realized the impact of that because no, I'm evolving. I could justify it.
Right.
Now, I don't know what you're hearing in this, but for me, it's that's a thing. It was never really present to it.
I hadn't heard this quote until right now, until you just read it. And I think my personal opinion is people want to escape reality in all different shapes, ways, and forms, whether it is alcoholism, whether it's the gym, they go 3 or 4 hours a day, whether it's drugs, whether it's technology, whether it's food, spiritual meditation. If you meditate and you do all of these things, or I have to wait for, the spirit world to tell me where I need to go first. And there's so much noise out there about everything anymore. It's not like we get to think for ourselves. We don't, because everyone's telling us what to do and how it should be done, and the right way, the wrong way, the this way, the that way. But I think you hit the nail on the head when you said there is nothing wrong with you. You are perfect, whole, and complete exactly how you are. Are there things that you want to change about yourself? Maybe. You want to lose 20 pounds. You want to, be able to, go on more trips. Do you want to be able, there's things that we all want to change about ourselves. I get that. But, I go from the inner beauty part because that's what I do. And when I look at that, I think what I want to be able to do is just be happy. Be happy in who I get to be. And knowing who I get to be is half the battle. And once I realize that I get to be who I choose to be, then I think everything else falls into place for me. So, and you brought that to my awareness, and that was because of and you see, when you say that you've done 8 years, you've done hundreds of thousands of hours of personal development, but what you do with that, Tina, is it's not just about you give it all away. You coach people on this. You give it to people. You make them aware of really and truly the simplicity of who you get to be. And people don't understand that. What do you mean, who I get to be? Who do you get to be? When something happens, like, I don't know. Okay, the grandkids were here this weekend, or this for Christmas. And one of them my parents have a T-Bird. It's a beautiful car. They babied it. They loved it. I love it because it was part of them. And they scratched the top of it with probably their sleeves on their coats, or who even knows. And it was like, okay, so who do I get to be in this? Do I get to be the grandmother that freaks out and goes like, whatever? Do I get to be like, what do I get to do? My husband gets to choose how he gets to be, and it isn't mine to own. And see, this is where it comes down to. When we have a partner or anything, we start to own who they are and who they get to be as well. I can't change who he is. He has to decide that on his own. However he deals with that is how he deals with it. But my choice was we sat all the kids down. My daughters both asked the kids one-on-one what actually happened, so we could get kind of a story to figure out, what really happened. But I got to be the grandparent that sat them down and said, these things that Gigi and Grandpa have in this house are for you to enjoy. But if you ruin them and you break them and you don't have respect for them, they don't know what that means. They have to be taught that. We're adults. We show up that way. Do we? It's our choice. And I truly believe what we put out, we get back. But I think we have a choice to put out to get back. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, my love language is different than your love language. I love to make people happy. I love to have people here and take care of them and have everyone around. I love that. Mind you, I'm getting older and I like to see them go just as much as I love to see them come. You know what I mean? But I also am aware that how I show up and who I get to be is different than who I used to be. And that's okay, because I've grown and I'm evolving. But like to your point, you can't sit in that and just be that person and just I have to keep going. I have to keep going. I have to keep evolving and I have to keep changing. What does that do for you? Like for the person, how does that work? If you're never content and you're never present on where you are, and you're waiting for the universe to show you the signs, and nothing is going to get past you as long as you're open to it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. The world of personal development and growth, it's a double-edged sword for me, because on one hand, it's not enough to just meditate, do yoga, watch spiritual movies or documentaries or deep dive into it. For me, I got to practice what I'm learning until it becomes internalized and part of me. And I think sometimes, people are looking backwards, trying to figure out why they are the way that they are. And my belief is, and the biggest transformation that's occurred for me is in my aligned action. And for me, I can't hide from myself. When I'm taking bold, committed, aligned action, all this stuff is going to come to the surface, and there's an opportunity for me to practice those distinctions, practice my being my transformation. And it's in those moments, just like you're saying, with who we get to be, that is a real testament to the growth. And one of the things that I noticed, people, words are just words. Actions speak louder than words. Yes. So when I see somebody who is evolved and spiritual, and somebody cuts them off and they start swearing and cursing and you effing idiot and you did it, I'm like, whoa, that is not a spiritual transformed human being, because it's in the moments where we get to practice patience and practice resilience and practice love that is a true sign of how evolved you actually are. When shit is hitting the fan, how do you show up? Yeah. When things aren't going well, when people aren't being their kindest, when people are doing these things, how are you showing up for the world? As the best version of yourself or the deflated version of yourself? So I find that sometimes an internal conflict I have for myself with people that are in the personal development space and world. It's like, practice what you preach. Don't just tell me lip service. Don't just tell me I'm so transformed. And I get really passionate about this, because it's like, no, you're not transformed at all. I don't care how much work you said you've done. I don't care how many personal development seminars you've attended. Yes, we all fall. We all make mistakes. But who are you when nobody's watching? Who are you when nobody is? I mean, I think about this experience that happened. Somebody for my birthday gave me 2 scratch tickets. And I just thought about this, right? Because I haven't even shared this with anybody because it didn't really matter. But I forgot about them. And when I was decluttering my house this week, I found them and I scratched them and I won $30. And I had them in my purse and I was so excited. You know, I thought, wow, right at Christmas, bonus. This is great. And then I was going to the mall and there was a man on the side of the road and he had a sign that said, I'm hungry, will take food. And my heart was just, normally I'd be like, you know what, you put yourself in that situation, sorry. But then I had a different perspective. I don't know his current situation. I don't know what happened to put him in that situation. But in that moment, I had like compassion for another human being, which I can honestly say I didn't always have. And I gave him the tickets. I said, listen, I think there's $30 on here. Have a nice meal. I said, get something to eat. And I wish you a Merry Christmas. And in that moment, I'm like, maybe this is what personal development is all about. Maybe this is what spirituality is all about. Putting our judgments, our biases, our pretenses on the side and seeing humanity for humanity. And so for me, this whole world of personal development is just about being the best human you can be.
Yeah. Yeah.
When it's not always to be a good human, when things aren't always working, when people don't show up the way we expect them to show up, who do we get to be in those moments? So I have a tendency for like to be a little judgmental. I'm going to be honest with this, you know, it's like,
don't we all have that tendency to be judgmental? Come on. Like we all live in our little bubble of what we believe things are. Right?
Yeah.
And then we see something different and we do get judgmental about it. It's hard not to. But being aware of it and then stopping it when it does happen, that's the power. It's not being aware of it that is where the problems lie, I think. You know, because like you said, if you're aware of being judgmental and then you stop it and you made that choice to give him those tickets, that's a choice that you made for yourself to do. You changed how you typically look at it.
Yeah, because the reason why I'm being judgmental is because I don't have the courage to speak the truth. Hey, listen, imagine this. Somebody, you and I have done a lot of personal development, and you're being disempowered or whatever. And I say, wow, Vicky, you have a lot of training and development. And I know who you are, and this is not who you are. This is who you're being right now is a little judgmental and a little,
Yep.
but that's not who you are for me. Imagine those conversations where we have an obligation to actually put what we're doing into our lives and hold other people accountable to do the same. So it's not that, yeah, I'm being judgmental because I don't have the courage to actually be that bold stand for what's possible in the world, to hold somebody else to their highest version. So I'm starting to see what's been missing for me in my leadership is actually holding people who have this training and development to be their transformation. And for other people, for me to give other people permission to say, hey, listen, I want you to only see me as the most transformed version of myself. And when I'm slipping into old patterns and old ways of being, hold me accountable. That is
And you know
love.
what? I think that is the exact thing you said. And communication is key. It is so key. And to be able to share that and to be able to say to you, like, because you and I talk every day, multiple times a day. And if you're having a breakdown, or if I'm having a breakdown, you just listen. When I'm having a breakdown, you just listen. And then you do exactly what you just did. Okay, Vicky, what do you believe? And you don't tell me what to do. You don't say this is the way it should be. You just ask me the questions. You get curious, and then you communicate to me.
Yeah.
That's huge.
That's love.
That is love. That is love.
Love.
Absolutely. Because you get to tell me when I'm like, and you know what? We all don't show up 100% the best version of ourselves 100% of the time. We just don't. We're human. We do make mistakes. We do fall off. What we want. We may have a day where we watch Netflix all day and we don't, get out and walk and exercise and do what we want to do every day. You're allowed to have the down times. But when you're aware of who you get to be during those down times, I allowed myself this year for the first time since my parents passed to really mourn my mom. I haven't mourned my mom like I mourned my dad. And for many reasons, which, would be a whole other podcast, but I allowed myself I literally took 2 full days. I watched sappy Christmas movies that I absolutely love. I cried. I allowed myself to feel everything I could feel without judgment.
Wow.
Without any judgment. Without saying, you really should be, and you really need to, and you shouldn't be feeling this way. And it's been 3 years. And because all those things go through your head. But no one gets to tell you how you get to grieve. I allowed myself the time. Then I put my big girl pants back on and I said, okay, what would my mom want? What would my mom wouldn't want me to be sitting here crying and feeling sorry for myself. My mom wouldn't want that. My mom would want me to be who I get to be. That's who she'd want me to be. So I am going to be that person. For me, not for everybody else. For me first.
And imagine with this whole theme of spiritual escapism, where you're feeling the way that you're feeling. And instead of dealing with the feelings, what do? You go try and meditate the feelings away, or try and yoga the feelings away, or try and, watch some other, show that's going to help you understand why you're feeling the way you're feeling, instead of just being with the feeling and the emotion and not escaping it and not running from it. That's and right. Just allowing it. And that is the hardest part, the stillness, the quiet, the allowing is where we get hung up, because it doesn't feel good to be in that spot. It doesn't feel good to be sad, to feel angry, to feel bored, to feel however we're feeling. But the only way to really deal with it is to be with it, be with all of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And allow,
And
allow.
a lot. Yeah. And being, I think when the art of being unstoppable for us, and I'm speaking for both of us in the sense that it's about being you, authentically you. That's all it is.
Mhm.
And we just want to be able to help people really see, you know, we're not perfect, we're flawed, we're this, we're that, but we're honest, and we get to just talk about stuff that people don't want to talk about because it brings it up for them, and they get to, oh my gosh, I was feeling the same way. And maybe they can take the action from what we talk about, right?
Mhm.
Maybe they can
Yeah.
take the actions and be able to take that one step closer to being feeling good about you, like feeling good about yourself, and not as
I do
having to
think,
escape all the time.
yeah, I mean, I think when we look at our reality, and if we don't love our current reality, going deep within is not going to change the reality.
No.
If you're not happy with your business, if you're not happy with your relationship, if you're not happy with yourself, it doesn't matter how deep you go within. That is not going to change your current reality.
No.
Your current reality is only going to be changed through action,
Yeah.
through action and being real with it. Just I went and signed up for a new gym membership. And I remember one of the things that Vicky, you actually recommended, I think it's from Mel Robbins, who says, Ray, go back to a time when you felt your best. What did you look like? What did you feel like? What was your experience of life like? And I remember, when I was 40 years old, I was in the best shape of my life. I had quit drinking. I was going to the gym. I was meditating. I was traveling. I was dating, but not like, I was just kind of hanging out and going out. And I just remember feeling like no care in the world. Everything just kind of fell into place. And I looked at my current reality and I said, why am I settling for less? I'm
Yes.
settling for less because I don't have the up until now, I didn't have the courage to change my lifestyle. I remember what happened when I quit drinking before and I lost all of my friends. I was afraid of that happening again. I remember what it was like to be in the best shape of my life. And every time I left the house, people would say to me things like, what are you doing? Starving yourself? You're too skinny. You don't need to do that. Are you really just going to? Everything was like so negative because I had people around me that didn't want to see me win. And I thought, you know what? My life isn't like that right now. I am not the same person that I was 8 years ago. I wouldn't tolerate that. I would have the courage to actually show up and stand up for myself, where when I was 40, I didn't. So I was afraid to shift my lifestyle because of the past, thinking I was going to recreate that past. But I'm not the same person, so that's
No.
not possible.
No.
So when I asked myself, why am I settling for less? I didn't have the answers that even made sense logically in my mind anymore. And
Right.
so I said, okay, so it's not getting a gym membership and going to the gym is not about weight loss for me. It's about shifting my lifestyle because I got into bad habits and patterns. Go, go, go all day long. 6 o'clock at night, I'm like dead to the world. I'm laying on the couch
Yeah.
and I'm just like numbing. I'm escaping because I'm so stressed out that I don't even want to deal with life. So shifting my lifestyle now to drive to the gym, to go to the sauna, to go work out, to go do yoga, get out of the house is shifting my lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's easier to sit on the couch and complain than to actually do something about
Mhm.
it. So I'm realizing the change is the courage to shift my lifestyle despite the consequences or the impact it might have on others. I'm letting go of, I don't really care about the impact on others. I care about the impact on me because at the end of the day, that's not selfish. It's selfless. I mean, I've been worried so much about what other people think that I haven't been true to myself. So I was like, what could be possible if I had the courage to shift my lifestyle? What could be possible if I placed more of a priority on socializing after work and relaxing, not in front of Netflix, but just being with myself.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
might that be like in a year from now if I followed through?
And you know what, Tina, and I think that this is another thing that happens a lot of the times when we do start to shift. People see that, and then how, okay, so you're an early morning person, you're up at 6, you do, that's how you do things. I am not a 6 a.m. girl. I do like getting up between 7 and 8, not gonna lie, and that's when my day starts, but I don't have to get up at 6 because you get up at 6. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it doesn't have to be, we don't all have to do it the same way. We don't all have to do the gym, or like, I love Pilates. We don't all have to do Pilates. We can do what makes us feel good, and
Yes.
putting those things of time into your schedule. Like, I like to meditate, and meditating for me is just to quiet my mind and to literally just be able to be quiet, because my life isn't quiet. I just don't have that with, being a stylist and coaching and meet and just my kids and my family. It's just not a quiet lifestyle, but I get to take that time for me. Having it scheduled in my schedule for every day and being able to stick to what makes me happy, I'm going to put that in there, and it's non-negotiable time. That time is non-negotiable for me. So if you say, "Hey, do you want to go to a sauna and a steam room tonight?" Yes. Right? Like, those are the things that we get to choose to do. And we get to do it either solo or find someone to do it with, but it's all just about taking the action and actually doing it, not just talking about it. Because we can all meditate,
Well,
we can all go to yoga, but we really need to follow through with everything that goes with it.
and for those of you that are listening right now, I want you to know this. It took me 4 years to get to this place where I'm ready to commit to myself. So I don't want you to think it's just, this has been easy for me,
Oh,
or yeah, you're a coach. I am a
God, no.
coach. I have over 5,000 hours of personal development and training. And this is the one area of my life that I have been resisting. And it's
Yeah.
not been easy for me. And it's not been, I've been saying this forever. It feels like 4 years, but nobody can it's nobody else's timeline except for yours.
That's
And
right.
it doesn't matter what I say.
Mm-mm.
When you're ready to make that shift, when you're ready to declare it's your time, nobody else's, and don't ever make yourself wrong for being where you're at. And be careful about judging yourself too if you're not quite there yet. Maybe
Yes.
it's a baby step. I signed up for a Pilates membership because Pilates to me is more relaxing than exercise. And I thought I need to commit to just something. That was my first step. Now I'm like, okay, I'm kind of done with Pilates. I want more. And so that was my second step. But I'm not
Yeah.
joking when I say, if somebody said to me yesterday on my social media feed, because I declared out loud, he's like, yeah, this is what you said last year. I'm like, yep, you're right. I did. And in the past, I would have taken that really personally because, yes, I did declare it out loud that I really wanted this, but my intention was not, it wasn't what I really wanted. It wasn't about the weight release, because it's easy to say, oh, I want to lose weight. Yeah, everybody says that. No, that's not what I really wanted. What I wanted was the courage to shift my lifestyle. And I didn't have the courage until right now. It took me 4 years to have the courage. And I don't know what it's going to be like in a month from now. And I might jump on the bandwagon, and I don't know, but it's a pretty big investment I committed to for the year.
But at the end of the day, Tina, it's okay to fall off. It's okay to fail forward. You're still going in the right direction. You're not going to stay there. You're not going to stay there. You never quit. Like, that's the key, I think, to all of what we're talking about. It's about the baby steps that you get to take, but you get to take them. You get to take them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you tried that last year. It doesn't matter. Try it again this year.
Our podcast is called The Art of Being Unstoppable. An art, when we talk about the art of being unstoppable, we are a work of art. But art can be a little messy sometimes, and it can look a little different for everybody. And it's really up to interpretation. And being unstoppable is just like, yeah, you might slip up, you might make a mistake, you might erase it, you might go, but then you just keep moving forward. And moving forward means you're not tolerating staying stuck. And it doesn't matter if it's increments of baby steps, and maybe you take a little step forward, backwards temporarily. It's the process, it's the journey that is the most valuable and the most important for all of us. And we're all on different, playing fields right now, so to speak.
Yes.
We're all equal, and we're all different, and we're all living a different human experience. And so the only competition you have is with yourself. And the only thing you get to do is be true to you and go at your own pace. And when you can do that, you let go of the attachment to it being a certain way or having to do it a certain way. No shoulds, no have tos in life.
Absolutely.
It's just opportunities. So, and I know we kind of started we started this podcast about this spiritual escapism, and we kind of went off and talked about other things, but I think to bring it all back in is that just being aware of when we're escaping, because we all do it. We're not going to, unless you're a monk or, you dedicate your life to being fully present, we're going to escape at times. We really are. And that's okay. And be okay. Just be aware. Be aware of when it's holding you back. Be aware of when you're falling out of alignment with your true self and who you want to be. And be willing to just have a look and look inside without judgment. It's just a noticing. And the more we notice, the more we become free. It's like, I know I'm escaping. I know I'm on, I don't even know what it's called, King's Palace or something. It's like Candy Crush. Like, okay, I've been on here for an hour. What am I escaping? Yeah. And it's okay to escape once in a while. We can't always be on. But just notice when it's holding you back from writing that book, or spending time with your loved ones, or following your passion or purpose, or holding you back from just experiencing living.
Yeah.
Full out.
And we started it in it, we call it spiritual escapism, but I really believe that being said, like the meditation, the yoga, all of those are good ways to escape people, right? But it's still escaping. And if your day is filled with just that, you're escaping from everything and you're not actually producing and being productive, then that becomes a problem. Whether it is Candy Crush or yoga or Pilates or whatever. But if you're trying to escape from things, at the end of the day, whether it's spiritual, whether it's technology, whether it's food, alcohol, drugs, none of it is positive. If that's what you're trying to do, is escape on a consistent basis with any of it.
Yeah. And saying this with love, non-judgment.
Absolutely. We've all been there. I mean, I still escape. I love my little game on my phone too, and I can play it. And it can be like however many hours, but when I notice it, and I really, really, really say to myself every single day, nope, nothing until you get everything complete. If you want to spend an hour at the end of the night when you're going to bed, do that. But you have to be aware of it and notice it and not make yourself wrong for it. Yeah, I don't make myself wrong. It is just what it is.
I laugh now. I'm like, oh, geez. I'm getting my the notification, like screen time alert, because I put an alert, right? I have so much time. Like, there's a screen time alert. That means I need to move. And it's all good. It's all good. I mean, life is a journey. It's not a destination. And the more we can enjoy the journey, the more we can see ourselves, observe ourselves, not judge ourselves, the more we can give that back to others, the more we can be a little less judgmental, a little more open, our heart's a little bit more tolerant and patient and loving. And I know I said this before, and I'll say it every time. We get to be the best human being we can possibly be. And maybe that is what life is about. Just being that person that other people want to be with, and being that person that we want to be with. And if we can do that, I don't know, does it get any better than that?
I don't think so. Myself, I don't think so.
Well, on that note, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Let us know what you're hearing. Let us know what you're seeing for yourself. Let us know what you thought. And maybe you disagree. Maybe you're like, no, this is not true. That's okay too. We welcome any feedback, and we love your comments. We love, the contribution that you guys make to us too. So anything else to declare this podcast episode complete?
No. Can't wait to see you next time. Bye, everyone. Well, friends, that is the end of our episode today. If you love this episode, hit the subscribe button so you never miss another episode. And please share us with your friends and tag us on your socials at The Art of Being Unstoppable. So for today, have yourself a beautiful day, and let's be unstoppable together. See you next time.